What is up, bros? With Josh here. In today's video, we're bringing you some low-tier fun we had the other day. We've been doing a lot of work-in-progress stuff and working on some new projects for some new series. And really, I don't get to visit low tiers that much. I tend to spend higher tiers, work-in-progress stuff, working on all these other things for some of our YouTube series and streaming content. So it is kind of a fun little thing to visit some of our low-tier ships. With so many ships being in this game, I go so long without revisiting some of these ships. The USS Hill, though, is definitely one I like to revisit. We call it the King of the Hill, and we always play the King of the Hill theme song on stream to kind of have a fun little time with this ship. And this is kind of one of my favorite low tier ships. However, though, it is kind of one of those things that I don't really spend much time in low tiers. I'll revisit it with maybe this ship. I'm starting to go back and play some ships I haven't spent. You know, it's been actual years since I've played some of these ships just because there's so many ships in this game. But the Hill is definitely one I revisit more than often, and it's because it's just so much fun to play. And this was one of the games I had a ton of fun playing. Tier 5 USN Premium Destroyer was part of an event a while ago, and you were able to kind of get this for free, which was kind of cool. I do recommend, if you like USN Destroyers and this ever does come on sale, I highly do recommend it. It's a very fun ship. There's a little bit of a trade-off for having a fairly high detection for this tier at 6.4 with Concealment Expert Captain. However, though, the guns are extremely good. Now, obviously, you have a couple kings at this tier, at the Kamikaze Ars Fujin / Kamikazes, the 3 clones, with also the Gremyashi, which has just been a solid ship for a long, long time. The Hill, though, is one that I particularly enjoy. I love USN Destroyer gameplay, kind of more that balanced gameplay. I'm not the biggest Torp fan like the Kamikaze are, and there's parts of the Gremyashi I really don't like. I don't like slow Torp destroyers, but the USN Destroyer playstyle with the Hill is one I really enjoy, and this is a ship I have a lot of fun playing. And you'll see kind of why. It just makes for low tier. I don't really go low tiers that much. I tend to stick kind of tier 7 and up. That's where a lot of the work in progress ships are, and that's just where I tend to find a little bit more fun. But I've started to kind of dip my toes down into some lower tier ships again, not too low, to kind of just have a fun, goofy time, and that's kind of what low tiers really is. But I don't particularly like to spend too much time. But the Hill brings 5 fairly solid guns to this tier with a fairly decent reload. This was with BFT, so yes, I know we are that guy that's has a fairly high level captain, but what are you going to do? We threw, I think, our Benson or Fletcher captain on here that was a 19 point. So we are definitely messing around too much. That's why I don't like to spend too much time down here. It kind of feels a little dirty sometimes. But this is a ship that I really enjoy playing. But it is definitely one that you can take control of the map if you know what you're doing. But again, 6.4 kilometer detection and 5.5 kilometer torps. So that's one thing that definitely does maybe throw some people off with this ship, is the fairly high detection. But man, the guns are just so freaking good on this ship. But I'm interested. For me, there's a lot of ships I don't get to play that much because I'm either working on something else or going over some different ships, or insert whatever excuse I kind of want to make up for that. But I don't spend too much time here. What is your go-to? Like, if you just want to really have a goofy time and just a fun time, what is your go-to ship? For me, I think it is the Hill. It's extremely strong. It used to be the Izzy, the tier 4 Russian destroyer. That was kind of my go-to DD, but this has kind of taken over. I still love the Izzy. It's a fantastic DD. If you haven't gone through the Russian line, I would say tier 4 is such a highlight before you get into a couple of the mediocre DDs. But yes, the Hill for me is one I really, really, really enjoy, especially just kind of going in and farming a little bit of damage with both guns and with those torps. If we can get close enough, you'll see us get through it and even get up nice against a broadside Omaha. But yeah, it's kind of a thing I've kind of forced myself to do a little bit. And I used to play a lot of low tier stuff when it first started out. A little bit of a history on just me as a streamer was when closed beta. When closed beta was then open beta, they basically did a reset on the end. Well, when it came officially open, but they did a reset on the entire lines. And I think at the time, I think the when it was still closed, I had the Montana. I had like maybe 3 tier 10s, 2 or 3 tier 10s. This is back when tier 10s were much harder to get. You were talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. This is back before there was ever any kind of flags that gave extra XP, any kind of camos that gave extra XP. I don't even think back then the ranked camos even gave XP, if there were even there. It's kind of hard. It's been so long now. It's crazy. It's been that long. but it's been so long. And so it was, you know, you would take 500-600 games. It was a bit more almost like tanks in a way, of it's just being so much more grindy to get stuff. Now it's, you know, if you have the right flags and you have, you know, the right kind of camos and yada yada yada, you can get through some lines and, you know, it may sound crazy, but you can get through some lines in 50 games. It's insane how much faster you can get through stuff. Here we go, nice little broadside salvo with the AP. We'll take that against the poor little Omaha. He has to get his torps out. And bingo bango, there we go. Some torp hits on the Battleship as well. Again, this is why I love this ship. It's just so goofy. But the kind of the backstory for me a little bit was I would be streaming, and when the entire lines were reset, me and one of my moderators at the time, we kind of did a race to tier 10 in a way. And I did USN battleships and he did IJN battleships. So basically all I did was spam USN battleships, and that's actually one thing that kind of it's kind of funny. It kind of made me hate battleships for a while. I used to be purely a battleship main, but I went through, and if you guys ever played in closed beta, you guys know how bad the Colorado was at that point. Colorado was the epitome to people, and it basically was a ship where you would shoot your entire salvo directly on a ship, and half of your salvo would go in front, half of them would go in back, and it was such a pain to play. It was brutal. So I got through the entire line, finally pushed through the Colorado on stream, and this was all solo queuing at the time, and I finally unlocked the North Carolina, and I just completely shelved the ship. So we took a break there, and then after that I started playing with a lot of viewers. So I started playing a lot of low tier stuff, and that was actually a lot of fun. I played a lot of St. Louis games at the time. Cruisers were extremely strong low tiers for a long time. That's back when AFT affected their range. So we played a lot of St. Louis games, a lot of Phoenix games, a lot of Tenryu, Kuma. I love playing those cruisers, but it was actually a lot of fun. So after that, though, I kind of played with all the viewers and had fun with divisions for months and months at a time. But it was such in low tiers. After that, once everyone got kind of higher, I just played with whatever anybody else wanted to play. And so, you know, you could kind of see the transition into higher and higher tiers. And really, kind of after that point, maybe a year into the game, I never really played low tiers. You would get through and kind of get the new lines, and obviously you'd start out, but with free XP coming there, and you know, then when the line started giving you early access to the mid to higher tier ships, you could skip over a lot of that, and it kind of got away from really kind of playing the low tiers. Now Wargaming is trying to get more people to maybe populate the low tiers a little bit with the resets and whatnot, but still, for me personally, it's so tough, especially with how easy it is to get free XP, and you can just skip over this low tier stuff. There's kind of really, as a player like me, there's no real reason to go back. So going back to just kind of mess around has been something I've kind of been forcing myself to do, and because high tiers obviously can be pretty annoying from time to time. So you definitely want to maybe have a little bit more fun in that. So we played a couple of games in the Bayern the other day. We played some games in the Congo, which is a ship that honestly 2+ years since I've played a Congo game. Just kind of messing around with some of the low stuff. It's been a long time, and that's one thing that's been kind of cool too, is the Road to Tier 10 series we've done on the YouTube channel. That's been one, and we're gonna get back to that, don't worry. We got to finish up a couple lines there, but that has been a series that's been a ton of fun to revisit a ton of ships. And there's our Crack-a-Lack, and so yes, the Hill, I love it. But I'm interested, what do you guys do? What's a ship that you haven't played in a long... I guess that's a better question. What's a ship you haven't played in a long time that maybe you're interested in visiting it again? For me, like, there's ships like the Tenryu and the Kuma that I've played so many games in that maybe I want to revisit, and especially lower tier stuff in general for me is stuff I just haven't revisited. Some Battleship lines, some of the old Battleship lines. The Wyoming is a ship I haven't played. I probably haven't played, no joke, a Wyoming game in 2+ years. The USN line, since it being one of my first ships to ever go through. But I'm interested in what you guys think. What are some ships that you used to play a lot, but you haven't played in a while, and maybe you want to go back and revisit it? I'm interested in what you guys maybe kind of have the same situation as me. Too many things to do right now, or too much stuff to kind of distract you from messing around on some ships, but you might go check it out after this. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys a fun little game. You got a Kraken. And again, we play all these live on twitch.tv/mejash. So come check us out, come hang out. And what we do whenever we get a Kraken, I always give away a sub, so that's always fun to do too. But anyways, want to show you a fun little game, kind of have a fun little conversation about revisiting some stuff, kind of reminiscing on the old days, and just overall having a good time. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.